Sometimes the quietest characters carry the heaviest weight, and sometimes the stories we overlook turn out to be the ones holding everything together. In Heartland Season 19, one woman's journey rises above the rest, not through grand gestures or shocking twists, but through strength, sacrifice, and resilience. Lou Fleming, the sister, the daughter, the mother, the mayor, has quietly become the backbone of Heartland. And in this season, her story is no longer in the background. It stands at the center, becoming both a tribute to her evolution and to the woman who has brought her to life for nearly 2 decades, Michelle Morgan. Season 19 begins by reminding us that Heartland is more than just a ranch. It is a legacy built by people who carried their dreams and burdens through decades of struggle. While Amy has always been seen as the heart of this family, Lou's role has been just as important, though often less recognized. But in Season 19, the writers changed that balance. From the very first episodes, we feel that Lou's journey will be different. Her presence isn't just supporting Amy anymore. It is driving the story forward, and it is done in a way that feels both fresh and deeply meaningful. Lou has always been known for her determination. Whether it was taking over the ranch's finances, stepping into leadership positions, or balancing her duties as a mother, she has carried more responsibility than most. Yet she was often seen as strict, sometimes stubborn, the one who clashed with others when tough decisions had to be made. But Season 19 peels back those layers. Instead of presenting Lou as simply ambitious or controlling, the season allows us to see her doubts, her vulnerabilities, and her quiet strength in moments when no one is watching. At the start of the season, Lou faces an impossible challenge. As the mayor, she must decide between pushing for the town's growth or protecting the traditions that keep the ranching community alive. On the surface, this may look like just another political conflict, but it becomes much more personal. For Lou, it's not about business, it's about identity. If the town grows too quickly, it risks losing its roots. If it stays the same, it may fall behind in opportunities. This conflict mirrors Lou's own journey as a woman who has constantly balanced ambition with loyalty, leadership with family, progress with tradition. Season 19 uses this conflict to shine a light on Michelle Morgan herself. For years, she has embodied Lou with a rare mix of intensity and vulnerability. The writers recognize that this portrayal deserves acknowledgement, and so Lou's arc this season feels like a tribute. We see her carry the weight of expectations, of her town, her family, her children, and yet we also see her falter. She questions herself. She wonders if she's making the right choices. She fears failing the people she loves. These moments of self-doubt make her evolution more powerful because they remind us that strength is not about being unshakable. It is about moving forward even when fear whispers louder than hope. As Lou's story unfolds, the season draws subtle connections between her and the legacy of Heartland itself. Just as the ranch has weathered storms, changes, and losses, Lou has endured countless challenges, yet she continues to stand. She doesn't always have the answers, but she refuses to walk away. This resilience defines her, and it is what makes her character so deeply relatable. Fans see themselves in Lou not because she is perfect, but because she is flawed. She is human, and in her humanity, she becomes stronger than any title or position could ever make her. One of the most striking themes in this season is how Lou begins to understand the meaning of leadership on a deeper level. Leadership is not about control. It is not about making everyone happy. It is about presence. About being there, standing tall when others can't. About being willing to carry responsibility even when it feels unbearable. This lesson defines Lou's evolution, and in many ways, it defines Michelle Morgan's legacy as well. For nearly 20 years, she has shown us the many sides of Lou, the determined leader, the protective sister, the caring mother, and the woman who has her own fears and dreams. By the time the first section of Season 19 unfolds, one truth becomes clear. Lou Fleming is no longer just a supporting character in the story of Heartland. She is a central force, and the season makes sure that fans understand this shift. Her journey is not only about the fictional world of the ranch. It is also about the real-world acknowledgement of Michelle Morgan's dedication and growth. This combination of story and tribute gives Season 19 a unique emotional depth, reminding us that sometimes the strongest legacies are not the loudest, but the ones that quietly carry everything forward. As Season 19 moves forward, Lou's struggles deepen, and the audience begins to see how much weight she truly carries. For years, she has been the one to step in when others faltered, the one to organize, to lead, to decide. But this time, the pressure grows heavier than ever. Her role as mayor is not just a title. It is a test of her values, her loyalty, and her endurance. Every decision she makes sends ripples through the community, and every ripple finds its way back to Heartland. The writers of Season 19 are careful here. They do not paint Lou as a flawless leader who always knows what to do. Instead, they show her moments of hesitation, moments where her voice trembles, or her gaze lingers on the land, as though she is searching for answers in the wide Alberta sky. This is where the suspense begins to take hold. Lou is faced with opportunities that could change the future of the town forever: development projects, outside investors, and promises of prosperity. But with each tempting offer comes a hidden cost, a danger of losing the traditions and bonds that hold the community together. And it isn't only politics that weighs on her. Her personal life collides with her professional one, leaving her torn in ways that are painfully human. At home, she is a mother trying to guide her daughters through their own growing pains. She struggles to find time for them, just as she struggles to find time for herself. The tension is subtle but powerful. Every missed family dinner, every late night spent at her desk instead of with her children, becomes a reminder of the sacrifices she makes. And yet, she keeps pushing forward, because deep down, Lou knows that if she falters, others will suffer. This is the part of the season where Lou's evolution becomes clear. In earlier years, she might have lashed out, grown defensive, or tried to control everything around her. But in Season 19, we see her changing. She begins to understand that leadership is not about being perfect. It is about being present. Even when she cannot fix everything, even when she doubts herself, she shows up. And that act of showing up becomes the heart of her story. The tribute to Michelle Morgan shines brightest in these moments. For nearly 2 decades, she has given life to Lou with such authenticity that fans often forget where the actress ends and the character begins. Season 19 acknowledges this bond. When Lou sits in quiet reflection, when her face shows both exhaustion and determination, it feels like Michelle herself is being honored. The show allows space for her performance to breathe, lingering on her expressions, her silences, her smallest gestures. It is as if the writers are saying, "Look closely. This is what 20 years of dedication looks like." But the suspense of Lou's arc is not only in whether she will succeed as mayor or as a mother. It is in the question that hangs silently in every scene. How long can one person carry so much without breaking? The tension builds not through dramatic explosions, but through the quiet erosion of energy and hope. Lou is pulled between the future of her community and the heart of her family, and the weight threatens to break her. Fans feel this suspense deeply because it mirrors life itself. We all know what it means to be stretched too thin, to want to be everything to everyone, and yet feel like we are failing in all directions. Jack, as always, provides Lou with grounding. His wisdom, delivered in few words, reminds her that she does not have to carry everything alone. But Lou's evolution comes not only from the advice of others, it comes from within. Slowly, she learns to let go of the impossible standards she once set for herself. She begins to trust that being there, even imperfectly, is enough. This realization marks a turning point. It is not a dramatic moment, but a quiet one, the kind that Heartland does best. It is in those silences, those lingering shots of Lou walking the fields, that we see her transformation most clearly. By the end of the second section of Season 19, viewers understand that Lou is no longer just a character in the background. She is the thread that weaves the family and the town together. The suspense is not in wondering whether she will succeed, it is in wondering what the cost of her choices will be, and whether she can keep standing tall when everything around her threatens to fall apart. This delicate balance between strength and vulnerability is what makes her story so gripping. And it is what makes this tribute to Michelle Morgan resonate so powerfully. Every character in Heartland carries a unique journey, but Lou Fleming's evolution has always been about resilience tested by responsibility. Season 19 pushes her further into situations where she must confront not only the pressures of being a mayor, a businesswoman, and a sister, but also the hidden cost of holding herself together for everyone else. What makes this stage of her story so powerful is that Michelle Morgan doesn't simply portray Lou as a leader. She allows us to see the quiet cracks behind the strength, the moments when Lou questions if she can keep giving without losing herself. And in these moments, the audience finds a mirror of their own struggles, because who hasn't felt the heavy weight of expectations pressing down? The suspense in season 19 does not come from grand villains or sudden twists, but from the very real emotional stakes Lou faces. Her choices, whether to put her family first or her community, whether to continue chasing personal fulfillment or sacrifice for the greater good, become battles that shape her identity. It is in these subtle human conflicts that the series builds its tension. Each conversation with Amy, each negotiation with townspeople, and each private moment of doubt becomes a thread woven into the larger story of resilience. Viewers sense that Lou is standing at a crossroads, and one wrong decision could send shockwaves across the Heartland family. What makes this arc so moving is that Michelle Morgan carries Lou's inner battles with such authenticity. She doesn't dramatize them into cliches, but grounds them in a kind of realism that makes audiences lean in. You can feel the unspoken questions. How much can Lou endure before she finally breaks? How far can she stretch herself before the fabric of her own identity begins to tear? This tension, slow-burning yet gripping, keeps fans invested in every episode. It's not just about what happens next, but about how Lou will emerge from these trials, stronger, or perhaps permanently changed. At the same time, the tribute to Michelle Morgan is deeply tied to the way her character inspires others within the story. Lou isn't perfect. She stumbles, she struggles, but she always rises. And that resilience becomes the lifeline for her family. Amy draws courage from her. Jack relies on her steadiness. Even the younger generation looks to Lou as proof that leadership isn't about never falling, it's about rising again and again. The suspense lies not in whether Lou will fall, but in how she will rise and what scars she will carry into the future. Season 19 also begins to explore Lou's legacy in a more profound way. She's no longer just reacting to the world around her. She's shaping it. Her policies as mayor, her vision for the ranch, her role as a mother, all these decisions ripple outward. And that is where the story takes on a larger-than-life quality. Heartland has always been about family, but with Lou, it's also about the kind of mark one person can leave on the world. The weight of that realization adds another layer of suspense. Viewers know that every step Lou takes could define her legacy forever. Michelle Morgan's performance elevates this entire arc. She plays Lou with such subtlety that even a glance or a sigh carries emotional weight. And that's the true magic of her role. She doesn't need dramatic speeches to convey Lou's strength. Her silence often says more than words ever could. It's this quiet power that keeps the audience hooked, waiting to see what Lou will do next, how she will navigate the storms of responsibility, and what kind of leader she will ultimately become. In the end, Season 19 becomes more than just another chapter in Heartland's long history. Through Lou Fleming, it becomes a meditation on resilience, legacy, and the hidden battles of leadership. And Michelle Morgan's performance ensures that this story lingers, not just as entertainment, but as a timeless tribute to the endurance of the human spirit. As Season 19 unfolds, Lou Fleming's journey begins to test not only her strength, but also the very foundations of her identity. The audience sees a woman pulled in countless directions, each demand louder than the last. The town looks to her as their leader, her family leans on her as their anchor, and her children need her as their guiding star. But here lies the haunting question. How long can Lou carry everyone else before she risks losing herself completely? This question, hanging in the air like a storm cloud, adds a tension that shapes every moment of her story. The writers of Heartland have always been subtle in how they build suspense, and with Lou's arc, they allow the pressure to mount gradually. A missed moment with her daughters here, an unresolved conflict with Amy there, a public setback in her role as mayor, all small cracks that begin to spread. Each episode pushes Lou further toward a point of reckoning, and the audience can sense that something has to give. Will she finally confront the fact that she can't be everything to everyone? Or will she try to hold on until the weight crushes her spirit? That uncertainty grips viewers and makes Lou's journey one of the most emotionally charged arcs of the season. Michelle Morgan's portrayal intensifies this suspense by giving Lou's struggle a deeply human face. She captures the quiet exhaustion of someone who smiles for others while fighting storms within. It's in her silences, her reflective stares across the ranch, and her hesitant conversations with Jack that the audience sees the layers of her conflict. Jack, ever the wise protector of the family, notices Lou's turmoil, but even he cannot pull the burden from her shoulders. His advice, though heartfelt, only reminds Lou that the choice to change must come from within herself. This emotional tug-of-war keeps the audience guessing. Will Lou heed the signs before it's too late? But beyond the personal stakes lies the larger question of Lu's legacy. Season 19 paints her not just as a character surviving the present, but as someone shaping the future. Her role as mayor places her decisions under scrutiny, not only from townspeople, but also from her own conscience. Every choice carries consequences, both for her community and for her family. And here is where the suspense deepens. What happens when Lu's duty to the town collides with her duty to Heartland Ranch? The possibility of sacrifice looms large, and fans are left holding their breath, waiting to see which path Lu will choose. The emotional heartbeat of this tribute is the realization that Lu's story is not just about personal growth, but about endurance across generations. She is both the little girl who once looked up to her father for guidance and the woman who now carries his torch for the family. The audience senses that Lu is standing at a threshold, caught between the weight of her past and the demands of her future. Will she step into that future with her spirit intact, or will the burdens finally cost her too much? This balance between hope and fear creates a suspense that runs deeper than plot twists. It's the suspense of wondering whether strength can endure without breaking. Michelle Morgan ensures that Lu is not remembered as flawless, but as real. She shows the cracks, the doubts, the fleeting moments of vulnerability that make her human. And it is precisely these imperfections that make Lu timeless. Viewers don't just see her as a character on screen, they see her as a reflection of themselves, of anyone who has carried more than their share and still found the courage to keep moving forward. Season 19, therefore, becomes not just another chapter in Heartland's story, but a living tribute to resilience, framed through Lu Fleming's evolution. And as the season builds toward its final act, one truth becomes clear. Lu's journey is not about choosing between strength and weakness, but about discovering the courage to be both. It's a lesson Michelle Morgan delivers with grace, ensuring that Lu's legacy will remain one of Heartland's most unforgettable contributions to television. By the time Season 19 reaches its final stretch, the suspense surrounding Lu Fleming's journey is no longer about whether she will stumble. It is about how she will rise from the storms that threaten to overwhelm her. The audience has seen her tested in ways both personal and public, and every trial has left its mark. But it is in these closing moments of her arc that the full weight of Michelle Morgan's performance shines brightest. Lu emerges not as a character defined by perfection, but as a woman who has weathered loss, carried responsibility, and still managed to find hope for tomorrow. And that is the essence of her tribute. She embodies endurance in its truest form. The beauty of Heartland has always been its ability to balance hardship with healing, and Lu's journey captures this balance with exquisite precision. She has endured heartbreak, faced setbacks in her leadership, and questioned her worth as both a mother and a daughter. Yet, through it all, the ranch has remained her compass, pulling her back to the values her family has carried for generations. This connection to the land and to her loved ones grounds her in ways no title or position ever could. Viewers realize that Lu's legacy is not measured in political victories or business successes, but in the quiet resilience she demonstrates when life asks more of her than she thinks she can give. Michelle Morgan brings this realization to life with a grace that feels almost effortless. There's a subtlety to her work that makes Lu's victories all the more rewarding because they are earned, not handed to her. A softened tone in her voice, a glance of recognition shared with Amy, or the way she embraces her daughters after a moment of doubt. All of these small choices create an emotional depth that lingers long after the episode ends. Audiences feel the truth of Lu's story because Michelle refuses to play her as larger than life. Instead, she plays her as someone beautifully human, and that honesty becomes the heart of the tribute. The suspense, too, never disappears. Even as Lu finds strength, the audience remains on edge, wondering if the next challenge will be the one that finally breaks her. But time and again, she proves that resilience is not about avoiding struggle. It is about embracing it and moving forward despite it. This rhythm of falling and rising, doubting and believing, creates an emotional pull that keeps viewers deeply invested. In Lu's journey, they see their own battles reflected back, and in her persistence, they find their own hope renewed. By dedicating this season to Lu's evolution, Heartland does more than honor a single character. It honors the countless women and men who have carried the invisible weight of responsibility with quiet dignity. It is a story that transcends the screen, reminding audiences that strength is not always loud or obvious. Sometimes, it is found in the person who shows up day after day, who sacrifices without applause, who leads with love even when it costs them dearly. That is Lou Fleming's legacy, and that is Michelle Morgan's gift to the world of storytelling. As the season draws to a close, the tribute becomes unmistakable. Lou Fleming is no longer just a character within Heartland. She's become a symbol of what it means to endure, to lead, and to love without condition. And Michelle Morgan, through nearly 2 decades of dedication, has ensured that Lou will forever stand as one of the show's most powerful anchors. Her performance has transformed Lou from a supporting role into a timeless presence, one that defines the very soul of Heartland. Season 19, therefore, is more than just another chapter. It is a celebration of Michelle Morgan's artistry and the evolution of Lou Fleming. It is a reminder that stories matter most when they mirror our deepest truths. And in Lou's resilience, audiences everywhere find not only entertainment, but also inspiration. Long after the credits roll, her journey remains alive in the hearts of fans, a living tribute to strength, sacrifice, and the quiet power of never giving up. Lou Fleming's journey in Heartland Season 19 is more than a storyline. It is a reflection of life itself. Through her struggles and triumphs, we see the quiet strength of a woman who has carried the weight of her family, her community, and her own dreams, even when the burden felt impossible to bear. And in that strength lies the true tribute to Michelle Morgan, the actress who has given Lou a soul, a voice, and a legacy that will never fade. For nearly 2 decades, Michelle has poured her heart into Lou, shaping her from a young woman searching for her place into a leader who has become the backbone of Heartland. She has shown us that resilience is not about being unshakable. It's about being human, about facing fear and doubt, yet still choosing to move forward. Lou's story teaches us that leadership is not found in titles, but in sacrifice, not in perfection, but in persistence, and not in power, but in love. As fans, we are left with a sense of gratitude. Gratitude for the countless moments Lou has given us, the laughter, the tears, the conflicts, and the reconciliations. Gratitude for the way Michelle Morgan has carried this character with such honesty and grace. And most of all, gratitude for the reminder that stories like Heartland are not just about horses and ranch life, but about the universal struggles of family, identity, and resilience. Season 19 is not just a continuation of a beloved series. It is a celebration of everything Lou Fleming represents. It is a promise to fans that her story will remain alive, not only in new episodes, but in the timeless memories she has created along the way. And as the sun sets on one chapter and rises on another, one truth shines through. Lou Fleming's evolution is far from over. Her journey continues, and so does the inspiration she brings to everyone watching. So as we look ahead, we carry with us the lessons Lou has taught us: to rise after we fall, to stand tall even when the world feels heavy, and to lead with love no matter the cost. This is the legacy of Lou Fleming. This is the tribute to Michelle Morgan. And this is the heart of Heartland.